After a long wait, both to play and for this Hangout to actually start, YouTube is telling me that Hangouts is telling me that we're live. And if that's true, then let's begin. This is our next installment in our exploration of the Veil. 3 more sessions, this time with me as Game Master, and our 2 previous MCs, now getting to relax and settle into the role of being players. So, because it's been a while, we decided we should talk about those characters a little bit. So, Ivan, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so I'm playing Tess, who is an apparatus. So I'm playing the apparatus character, right, or the apparatus playbook, if you will. And I chose that playbook out of all of them because that one intrigued me the most. The idea that there was something that wasn't quite human, and that's partially just because I find that sort of thing, artificial life, interesting. And there was a lot of neat stuff in this playbook I thought was pretty cool to look at and explore. So especially the fact that there's all parts of there's this birth move that we have to do at the beginning of this session and all the session, beginning of all the sessions, where pretty much you roll a dice and you ask a question. Either the MC asks you or you ask the MC, and it's something about your origin. So you kind of discover the character, more nuances about the character. So Tess herself is this kind of tall, attractive young woman, or that's what she looks like. I chose the apparatus to look indistinguishable from a human being, and she's really comes into the world with no idea of where she's from. I like the idea that she came in kind of damaged, so that way it made sense for us to find more stuff out about her. Right. And so she's been kind of discovering who she is.
So over the 3 sessions or 4 sessions you got to play Tess, what have the birth moves revealed to her?
I believe, let's see, I think it was, that was a good, I wasn't prepared for that question, man. I think it was, is there anybody else out there like me? And I discovered that, in fact, there were other units like myself. And then we got to discover that more and play, where we got to meet them, which was not pleasant.
Well, it depends on if you like living or not.
Right. Yeah. And unlike Cadmus, she was not destined to die, just possible that she could die. I believe what was my purpose was another one that kind of came up, and it was just kind of to serve humanity, but that was kind of ambiguous. In what sense? Wasn't quite sure. We kind of discovered later on that she might have had a purpose that sort of maybe served humanity, or at least what somebody, her creator, thought would be the best way to serve humanity. Let's see. I think there was, why am I no longer with my creators? I think might have been the other question that we looked at. That one's popping out of me as
right.
And I believe there was some kind of she had some kind of flashbacks to the fact there was some kind of accident or fire where she was. She's not sure if that's where she was created or being stored, or who knows. But she really wasn't even aware that she was artificial for a while.
Right on. Okay. And Jean-Francois?
Yes, I I chose the Seeker because I wanted to well, I feel like this in a cyberpunk genre, like the street preacher, there's always like this trope, like this guy, there is no hope in anything, and then like there's always this guy who's trying to bring hope to the people, on a really bottom street level, just screaming out loud on the corner of the street. So I just felt like it's a cool trope to play. But I decided as well that in a dystopian future, I wanted to create like the super peaceful, lawful good, I don't want to harm anybody guy. So it's supposed to be a violent world, in a dystopian future and on a slum level. So I wanted to play that contrast. I just wanted to be on the verge of that contrast. Since the game is about emotions, I felt like it would be a good opportunity to put, a lot of my stats in mad. So I will have this struggle every time, because you know, whenever action is supposed to happen or whenever tough decision is supposed to happen, and my character is becoming, you know, should be mad, but my belief is about never get into that state.
Peaceful.
Yeah, I wanted to create that tough dichotomy as a character, and then the you know, the idea of the fate and the special moves they have was interesting as well. So that's about it. Yeah.
Right. The focus on the seeker of insight, gaining insight.
Yes, and also creating you know, a description of my own fate, just bringing that into the world, bringing a whole culture into the world. You know. Yeah.
You also have a specific move we have to do at the beginning.
Yes.
All right. So while we're talking with you, let's do your specific
All
move.
right. All right. I have a 6.
Oh. All right. So this means we're looking at surplus.
It means we're looking at a want.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I choosing my want or if you choosing my want. So my wants are I have penance, I have preach, and I have judgment.
All right. Well, how do you feel about going for judgment for this one?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, let's go with judgment.
Seems to fit the theme of things. All right. Now this is a want. This is a desire in Yorn for judgment. So some kind of lingering doubt or guilt. And the birth move for Tess.
Ah, yes, the birth move. All righty, let's see. And let's see if I hit or miss. That's a 7, so we have still a hit. So the MC asked me a question.
All right.
Off that list.
A question from the list. One moment, please, to get to the list. There she is, the apparatus. Wow, a real telephone call.
How quaint on landline. It's probably one of Rich's toys.
Huh. All right, tying in with your belief, what can you do to gain a measure of acceptance in this society?
Oh man, I knew you were going to ask me that one.
Well, then you're welcome.
Well, thank you so much, sir. May I have another? Wow. That's an interesting one because that I looked at that one, that was very puzzling. You know, I think Tess would be quite puzzled herself about what she would have to do to gain acceptance in society itself. She has to be human, or at least pass as human. She can't stick out as being different.
All right. Well, while you think about judgment and you think about acceptance, let's set the stage for today's session of the Veil. It has been 2 weeks since the events that have become popularly known as Whiteout Wednesday. There are now sales, t-shirts, hoodies, knit caps, all kinds of bumper stickers and other promotional material for, I was there on Whiteout Wednesday. People are talking about where they were, what happened. Restaurants having Whiteout Wednesday sales. It has become almost a joke. The body count forgotten. The areas of the heights where the veil had dissolved, had disappeared, had revealed the bare city underneath. Network repeaters had been quickly installed, massive machines just dumped in the middle of the intersections to restore order. Within days, the city looked fine, although there were thousands, maybe millions of people who knew firsthand from personal experience things are not fine. As we begin, we're coming down through the clouds over the city. It's snowing. It's been snowing for days. We're coming down level by level by level through a long multi-lane boulevard. 6 lanes for the left traffic, 6 lanes for the right traffic. But traffic is airborne traffic. This is the upper level of the heights that we're passing through, leaving behind, passing through the smog, the fog, and the winter clouds, down into the icy, dark, black, and neon streets below. We can hear the multi-language voices of people selling, people arguing, people talking, people sharing. We see the press of bodies pushing down the street, coming up to 2 construction zones, one massive building, one smaller building, both shrouded in plastic, heavy building machines crouching within them, sifting through the rubble. This is one of the last parts of the city to be changed. And in front, on the corner, we see Jorn. Jorn has just received notice from a legal firm that a will has been executed, an estate has been processed, and he is now the owner of record of a 2-occupant apartment on level 4, the lowest of the upper levels. Former occupant Cadmus Buchanan. In the last 2 weeks, things like the massacre in the Temple of the Unified have quickly been wiped off the face of social media, official media, and the like. So as the snow falls, as the message ends, what's Jorn doing and why is he there?
So Jorn is preaching on the corner, and he's wearing his usual preacher outfit, this long hoodie, one piece suit made of some latex with neon attached to it. And he's gesticulating and shouting stuff about the unified and the whole, but he's modifying his speech a little bit, because what the information is received in the last couple of weeks and the things he's been through since the Whiteout Wednesday. He's shouting about being more aware of what's going on, and so it's preaching is becoming a little bit more political, and so seems to gather more people. Interesting about this idea of the veil becoming more sentient, and people should be aware of the cues and what's going on, and nothing, and should stop taking things for granted, and realize that they are part of a bigger thing going on and stuff like that, and they're just the smallest parts of a bigger whole. And he's still preaching his stuff. So as he receives this information, he realized that he needs to let Tess know about that, because it's an opportunity to move on a higher scale. And for him, it's just an opportunity to preach to maybe a better crowd, and to seek more people on more level. I think his time is done around here, and and since he almost died a couple of times, and got in some serious trouble. He's willing to get higher, but at the same time, he's receiving this message, and it's almost like a message from Cadmus, but afterward. And his belief system is about the idea that we don't die; it's just a continuum of things. So it's like, oh shit! So Cadmus it's a call from Cadmus, and we should answer. So he's finishing his stuff and gives some information. He sends some virtual flyer to everybody around, and then people are shouting and clapping, and he's all happy and everything. And he has a little hideout, scum of the earth kind of place, tacky down building, where he and Tess has been staying for the last couple of weeks. And he's just walking fast and to meet out with Tess. And as he's walking, he sends a message to Tess via his connection, and he's like, Tess, are you there? Yo, I have some news from Cadmus.
All right, so if I understand the connection correctly, this kind of process is effortless and easy. As you are walking away from the crowd, you notice that there are 2 police officers in riot gear. They're not approaching, they're not doing anything, they're just watching and recording. As you walk away, they walk off in the other direction.
Well, Tess, I need to tell you something. Are you available?
Yeah, well, Tess has been sitting in a coffee shop, not too far away from the hovel, which we've been renting, smoking a cigarette and drinking her coffee. And she just kind of answers the hail, opens up a little private room in her head, so she's not actually speaking out loud.
Hey, listen,
a message from Cadmus?
Yeah, I received a message from Cadmus. I need to show you a few images, so I'm sending the notice, sending all the stuff, and I'm like, you see, like I just inherited. I don't know how you guys say that in English, but inherit Cadmus's apartment on the 4th level. So you should come with us. You should come with me. We should get ownership, and then we can leave these dirty parts.
Yes, that sounds good, but why did he give it to you?
Well, I have no clue. Maybe there's some more information at his place. Also, you I don't think you can give ownership to a machine. So
boom.
Thank you so much. I can see that Cadmus has in fact rubbed off on you. Perhaps you were better friends than I thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's but it is what it is. To each his own. Come on, let's grab our stuff. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Dodge.
Yeah, forget about it.
Okay, that sounds like a reasonable plan.
I mean, it's the only good thing we have to do right now because these parts have been a shitty place for way too long. And I mean, Cadmus needs. I mean, he shouldn't have done what he's done for nothing. So maybe he had a plan that's still going on. I mean, in a sense of Cadmus was a little bit ahead of us somehow because he was dying. So he knew, he knew that he knew stuff. I'm pretty sure he had something in mind. When your time is so short, at least in his mind.
Well, at least he wanted to make sure you had a place to live. So yeah, I gotta go grab my stuff, and Tess has bought quite a few clothes, so it's going to take a little bit of. Well, she's got that big bank account, and she's decided she likes clothes, so
Yeah,
she's dressed quite well today.
And also, I mean, it's great opportunity. I've never been out of these parts, so.
All right. Trying some upscale living.
Pardon? I didn't hear that.
So you're going to try some upscale living, Jorn?
Yeah. Let's see about that. It's a great place to preach. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some better response there. So.
They can hire better security, though. Just remember that.
I can preach to them as well.
All right. So a change of venue is in order. Are you going directly to the building?
Yeah, I'm going to grab the few things I still have there. Wait for Tess and go to the elevator.
All right. So you meet up in your hovel then, as Tess is packing an incredible amount of clothes that she's picked up in the last
2
few days. I get it. Now, Jorn, as you approach the door to the hovel, you notice that a police investigation sticker has been applied to the door, both physically and an overlay in the veil, which is, active with case numbers and things, but you can't read any of that information. It's obscured because you're not a police officer.
So, so I enter the building. I have to go to my apartment. I have to meet Tess. So I'm just going. I'm going in, and I just I mind my own business. I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything to feel guilty of. So
I didn't do anything. All right. So Jorn arrives, Tess.
Okay, I'm just about finishing packing up things up in some neat little cases that, of course, levitate. Not very hard to move the stuff around. Just takes a little time.
You see a super excited Jorn, with his gloomy eyes that are like way more shinier than ever. He's like, "Hey, yo, Tess," and he's giving you a hug, and you know what? Yeah, I've never been out of these parts. I'm born and raised down in this shithole, and I mean, you know what? Like, what about some, a clean, nice apartment, on higher levels, and I'm pretty sure the connection to the veil is better there as well. So maybe we're gonna be able to get a better sense of her. Maybe we're not gonna be talking to a child. Maybe we're going to be talking to someone else, someone a little bit fancier. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as he's saying all these things, he's running around the shithole they've been living in, and he's grabbing just a couple duffel bags here and there. He doesn't have anything, just grabbing a couple duffel bags, and he's He's like, all right, so I'm ready whenever you're ready. I mean, oh, and I think it's gonna. It might. I don't know. Well, outside, I've been seeing some. You saw some of these signs out there. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna be missing those.
Yeah, what were those signs for?
I don't know. I don't care. Let's get the shit out of here.
Okay.
Have you done anything? I'm pretty sure you've done anything.
I don't want to recall or recount everything I've done.
No, it's perfect.
Do you think they're after one of us?
No, I haven't done anything.
Okay, well, that leaves one. So Tess just says very quietly to herself before my apartment was clean, and latches the final latch on her suitcase.
Okay, so listen,
done.
just in case you've done something, or just in case they're after it. Here's what we should do. You know, you have some charms. You should dress sexy. So before we leave, get yourself hooked up, perfumed, cleaned up the best you can in the shithole, and then get the finest, sexiest, most classy clothes, because we're going to a nice place. Just in case there's anything going on, some questioning and some bullshit and stuff, at least you'd look good and you'll be able to charm everybody who asks any question. Because every human being, especially in these shit low-level parts, they will fall for you, right? So it's gonna give us some edge. Just in case.
Tess, who is dressed incredibly classy to begin with, opens the thing back up, takes out this outfit that is classy but more revealing, which she specifically has not worn around Yorn, and she proceeds to just disrobe right there, put the other one on, and without even turning around, says, Yorn, I am puzzled. Do you recall when we first met?
Oh yeah, I do.
Do you recall taking me clothes shopping?
Yeah.
And you recall I picked out an outfit very much like this one, and you told me to put that one back. This was not appropriate. And you made me buy something that looked a lot more like what the women in the construction industry wear, with the overalls covering my body from.
Oh yeah. Well, today is a brand new day, and we might gonna see some. I mean, you don't want to look like a construction worker on these higher hands level. You know?
Your ability to vacillate from dogmatic to pragmatic never ceases to amaze me. One day I will understand you.
Oh yeah, you cannot understand human beings. We're full of paradox. We're full of contradictions. You're straightforward, algorithm, with one thing you can do. So it's not a problem. Don't worry about that.
I've decided to make this a goal of mine, but I figured it would be the most advantageous to shoot high. So I'm seeking to understand the most perplexing human being I could find. And she gives you a kiss on the cheek and latches her suitcase back up. I'm ready. And she looks stunning.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's perfect. That's perfect, actually. All right, so I'm gonna try to Yorn's looking at his outfit, dirty, trendy but trashy, and his duffel bags in his hands, and your nice, thing that you carry your nice clothes in. Yeah. It's like, well, all right, so let's not look too weird outside in these parts, but it is what it is. And then he opens the door and he leads the way out.
All right.
I just found we just look like we belong together.
As you hit the streets, there is a low-level announcement that's permeating through the veil. Just, low volume background noise. It increases in volume whenever you pass a corner an intersection with walk lights. When the walk light comes on saying, walk now, you also receive this message. A city ordinance, a city order has come down saying all mendicants, street preachers, and vendors must be licensed by close of business on Friday. And it just repeats.
It appears you have 2 days, sir.
Well, I'm gonna be out of Dodge in a few minutes. So it's all good in the hood. I don't care about these people. I mean, I'm gonna still be preaching, but at least I'm not gonna be preaching around here. So it's gonna be all fine and dandy. Come on, don't worry. I've done enough for today. I'm not gonna be preaching anymore. Until Friday, at least in these parts. So. And I'm doing this online now. I'm most of it is online now. So
veiled.
And
Okay.
Tess was about to say something, just shuts up. She just stops.
Now, things that you're both aware is that Cadmus had to commute to work. So it's in a different block. So you have a variety of ways to get there. There's rickshaw. You could splurge on ground transit or hover transit, or you could, take the line.
I see. I'm looking at the address, using the app, the Veil, and I see it's kind of far, but I'm like, hey, Tess, what about a taxi? Like, I see you have some means. So what about we grab like these upper end cab, the upper end cab. We can get our. What about some, not a limo, but a nice driver car. So when we reach the apartment there, nobody asks too much questions.
Oh, so we look like we belong. Should we go clothes shopping first? And I can give him an eye.
Oh, that's a good idea. But let's do that on the 4th level, though.
Okay, so I automatically just open it.
I'm really, really down. No, that would be so nice.
So
because I need to update, and I need to update some of my profile picture on the preaching app I just installed, so I can start a new networking, because I haven't received much since I just started, because I was maybe looking a little bit too grimy. Even though I have a nice skin job, I don't have great outfit. So yeah, I think the quality is going to be better also on the 4th level, because the lighting, is shitty in these parts.
And Tess just listens to this whole speech, just because she's taking it all in. At the same time, she's already hailing a cab.
Okay. Now, some streets in the Heights, of course, are open, and you can look up and see the massive, clawing steel and glass fingers at the high cloud base. But often, the cloud base is quite low, and the reflected light from beneath kind of gives you the sense that you're always in this dimly lit, blue tinted tunnel, iced up and frosted, glitters and reflected light everywhere. But today is one of those days where you can see the upper strata of clouds. Right? You can look up and you can almost see outside of the lower level. You can almost get a sense of that low, high level that Cadmus came from. This is one of those streets where a cab could descend all the way down to the street level rather than to a mezzanine or a balcony on a higher level. So, at Tess's signal, a black air cab descends, its landing gear folding down. It settles down in front of you, but the driver doesn't want to open the door. He's looking around for whoever it must be who called.
I stride right into the cab, as if I own it. Right in the middle, and Jorn's still right in the middle of the sentence, and I just completely break off.
And I don't speak. I just say, "It's your turn now. Let's do this, Tess."
Okay. So the driver's in a nice, simple uniform matching the cab, white gloves. He's got some braid around his shoulder, even has military-style epaulets. And he looks a little concerned, but when he gets a good, straight-on look at Tess climbing into the back, he relaxes a little bit.
Good afternoon. My companion will give you the address. Thank you very much.
I enter the cab. I sent the coordinate right away to not even saying a word, just mentally it appears on his windshield as a holographic transcription,
and then confirmation appears on the back of the seat in front of you.
And I sit in the back, and then I send I speak. I send some messages to Tess. I'm like, great work, Tess. I mean, this is perfect. You see the smell? It smells so good. I'm not sure it shouldn't be real leather, but at least we get the jinx of it. Oh,
I have this picture of Tess's luggage floating like obediently into this little recessed area where Jorn is going, taking these filthy duffel bags and then getting them on the leather seats.
Right, as the trunk, the trunk accepts the luggage, and then this kind of disinfectant spray.
Yeah.
Jorn doesn't say a word because he's super excited, and then he's sitting in the back of the thing, and he's sending messages, to all his disciples, because he's been preaching for a long time, on the streets, and now he's like leaving. So he's sending all kinds of messages. So he's sitting, but he's not speaking and he's not moving because he's in the veil, and he's just sending some messages like, farewell, young disciples. Spread the words. As long as I'm not gonna be there, be careful on these streets. I'm looking for new horizons, and me and my friend Tess, we're gonna spread the word, on these higher hands. And he's already modifying his profile pictures and stuff, and he's utilizing all kind of these digital tools where he can enhance his skin and enhance his face and everything. And so he's already getting ready.
Now the cab is still sitting in place, and it's been not very long because all of that's happening instantly in your brain, but at the same time, it's long enough that the driver has flicked a few looks, over his shoulder towards you. And on the confirmation screen on the back of the seat in front of the two of you, the map saying your location and your destination, a 3D holographic display, it's asking for confirmation code that you have access to that address. The cab won't even start unless you can supply.
So I just send him right away the ownership confirmation that I received earlier.
Turns green, cab driver nods, and very smoothly you lift off and up into the cloud base. Clearing out of the clouds, trailing the clouds across the hood of the car, across the windscreen, you now have a glimpse of the heights from a totally different point of view. Clean, clear lines of the skyscrapers, massive advertising, right? Different sounds, no sound of traffic, just advertising messages. What leaps out at you from this new perspective as you're traveling across the city?
It's less chaotic. It's actually kind of nice up here, Jan.
Wait a second. I'm still talking to some of my folks down there. Won't be long. I'm just oh man, always wanted to be rich. And he's like, you see, you know, he's excited. He's like a kid who's never been out of these slums, you know. So and then eventually he kind of disconnect himself and just come back into the cab. He's looking outside, he's like, whoa. I'm pretty sure Cadmus has like a, you know, super high living status kind of thing. Like he's I mean, he was wearing a suit, remember? When we first met him, the dude was wearing like some kind of a... Jeez, I'm sure I'm going to get some fine clothes.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. It probably will not come from preaching money, but yes.
Oh, you know, yeah, preaching money. I mean, you don't get much out of those. Just enough to keep your profile updated.
And all Tess can keep thinking as she's looking around is like, it's like almost like a lack of vermin. Like there's so much, almost as if there's just, you know, isn't infested. It's where they keep some leaping out to her. Sterile.
That thought can lead to other thoughts, because other than Yorn and the driver, up here, there are no people to see.
It does. It looks much more peaceful. Tess doesn't exactly dislike people, but down in the sprawl, she's seen just how distasteful people can be, how they can act, and this constant this thought that she had, or this programming that she was built to serve people, has just she's constantly slammed her head against the wall, you know, or slammed her head against that notion, because what she's seen of people has been so distasteful, so chaotic, so vile at times, that she has a hard time really believing that that's you know, they're superior or something she would have to serve. And the sudden absence of all that nasty part of society, the guards, the people doing things they shouldn't be doing, you know, the filth, the disease, the addiction, that people, you know, take advantage of one another. It's an absence of all people, but it's not so bad. It's kind of peaceful.
And Yorn, as you've noticed that as well. He's saying, you see, this is exactly what I was saying. Like, here, everything is online. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these people are just sitting at home, living their virtual lives, you know. And this is the new way. This is the new age. I'm not gonna be on the street anymore, you know, doing preaching. I'm gonna be sitting in Cadmus's couch, you know, just lying on my back and just sending all these messages online via the veil, and then we can have maybe like a way more comfortable living in these parts. What do you think, Tess? What do you expect? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna find some we're gonna find a way to make, you know, Cadmus's death like mean something. It's better for us to be in his life than down there to do so.
It's just that last line really kind of snaps Tess out of it, because as Jorn was talking, she was kind of turning the volume on his channel down. Yeah, just trying to take in what she could. And peaceful is not even a state that she has unlocked. She literally is not unlocked peaceful or joyful. So I think the closest thing she was feeling was almost powerful, being up here in the clouds. And it was only when he mentioned, Cadmus's death that she kind of, kind of snapped to and paid attention and looked at him. Yes, perhaps we need to make his death mean something. Cadmus was a good man. He was not typical. He was worthy.
Yeah. But I'm so glad, he sent us this message. I mean, today, it's like I haven't heard from him in weeks.
He is dead.
I know, but yeah, dead is just a word. Like, this is something that he organized to reach us. This is intentional from him. When he was alive, or before the moment where his body reality, vanished. Now there's still something going on, and this is a manifestation of it. Don't
Do you believe his consciousness? Do you believe his consciousness still?
I'm not saying it's no. Well, it still exists in the intention that let's. I'm going to give you an example. Let's see. Let's say that he wrote this inheritance notice while he was still living. He knew that he was about to die. He knew that he was dying. So he and we seemed to be his friends. The last people of importance for him before his last days. So when he was living, he wrote that notice to make sure that we receive it after a couple times, after 2 weeks maybe, after his death. And so we still, this is how I choose to interpret that. So it's not about he still being here or not. It's about his legacy, still coming through the veil to us. If it's not from him, well, that would be a hell of a trap for us.
A trap.
A trap from the veil.
I had not thought of that.
Yeah, well, you should come back to reality, because this is nasty stuff going on, man. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe you should go there gun blazing.
And Tess looks completely bemused at this point. And
then he's like, start laughing. Gotcha. Gotcha. You should have seen the look on your face. Oh, God. Come on, relax a little. You should live a little.
I think I understand now. You are one of the most naive people I know. So I was surprised that you came up with that.
Yeah, well. I've been living in the slums for so long, man. I've seen it all.
So Cadmus has left a legacy.
And at this point, you arrive.
Hooray. I will tip the driver generously, because I know that gets effects.
He thanks you. Doors open. Right. So the cab is still, of course, hanging in the air. Side of the cab opens up onto a balcony or an unloading and loading zone around the building in which Cadmus lives, almost the arcology in which he lives, an entire complex. You never need to go outside. And the levels below this, it's just apartments. You need to go down to street level. You need to go buy food. You need to have things delivered. On this level and above, you never need to leave. There is a uniformed doorman, and there are uniformed security guards. Same company, same uniform you've seen from Cadmus, actually, the Watchful Eye.
Well, I grab my mag luggage, have it follow me, and then look at Yorn and pick up one of the duffel bags.
I grab the rest of the duffel bags. You know, I kind of put my hoodie on because the wind and the snow is whirling at this level, and then I walk toward the door. You know, following you now.
And of course, the uniformed doorman just kind of puts his hand up, and he has that shocked look that you've seen in movies of, high class waiters when the homeless try to press their way into the restaurant, like, please, could I have a crust of bread? He's like, we have no bread.
I before we even arrive, I send him the ownership notice. Send him all the official paper. So the door, so expecting that the door will open at the same time that we walk, we don't even have to stop.
Okay. And
this is Yorn's thinking. This is Yorn's thinking.
Yeah.
First move of the day.
I just need to find the name of the move that I want.
I'll be back in 30 seconds, but go ahead. I hope you live.
Crap, I had it. What I'd like you to do is roll. Let's keep it simple with sway.
Sway. Okay, so what I want is enter the building and reach, my place.
You have every right to be there.
Yeah, I have the right to be there. This is my place. So Yorn, he's walking toward them. There's a certain amount of space, and he always dreamed since he was a kid, to live this kind of life. So he wants, he really wants the door to. He wants these people to open the door for him. Nobody ever opened the door for him. All right,
look at that. That's a good start.
That's a really good start. So, all right, so
on 10 plus, they do it and choose one.
Yes, exactly. So I choose.
I kind of like the last one on the list.
It's a sway move, right?
Yep, sway.
Oh, okay, so, pick that one.
Okay, so we're gonna owe them some serious cred.
Okay, you want to do the disdainful cash passing thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Whose wallet?
So you got exactly what you wanted. It just cost some cred.
Yeah.
Which might explain some of Cadmus's attitude in the past.
So we walk toward them, and they open the door, but I see the little movement like that, and I say, Tess, this is your part.
I give Yorn a really quizzical look, and I just we will talk about this. I shoot over the cred to the guy.
The doors open. Security guard, watchful eye, Guy reaches up, touches his ear, and nods. They have the same modifications that Cadmus had. They do not have organic eyes. They have implants in their ears. And Tess, you're able to hear more clearly than Yorn, but the message is sent. They're coming up.
Well, I don't say anything at the time, but as soon as we get through the doors and continue up down the hallway, or on our way, I'll shoot Yorn a message. We are expected. Perhaps it is this trap you spoke of.
No, I'm telling you, this is Cadmus's. This is Cadmus's legacy. It's part of his plan. So
It
I'm
may
pretty
be
sure.
his legacy.
Yeah,
but,
everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be fine.
I press a button in my luggage, and a little drawer pops out, and I grab one needler, and I stuff it, and I look over it and said, "This is," and I pull out another one. This is Cadmus's. Would you like this? It's another part of his legacy. We may need this.
And what is it exactly?
It is a gun. You kill people with it.
Oh no! I'm like no. Are you? Are you out of your mind, Tess? And like, listen. Then I stop. I drop my duffel bag on the ground in the middle of the hall, and I say, "Listen, it's probably just a message, from Cadmus. When they say these are not real people. This is just like an enhanced reality. They just say they're coming up because there is probably it's probably like we are invited there. It's probably just the message they send to the owner, like, okay, your guests are coming up, kind of thing. So it's not, you don't have to panic about that. I'm pretty sure everything's going to be fine, and we have all the right to be here. And he has this expression on his face like he's a child. It's super, super interesting for him to be in these parts, and he's just, So
Perhaps we should.
So you should, and just put that back in your bag. I mean, we don't go there like gun blazing like crazies. We just arrive in the neighborhood.
So Tess puts Cadmus's back and closes it, but she keeps hers on her. She's very good at keeping a concealed weapon. Perhaps we should get you some appropriate attire first. Have you noticed that's a problem?
Oh yeah. You know what? Before we go upstairs, like to the apartment, maybe we should. We should do some shopping first.
I think it's a splendid idea.
All right.
Yes, let's go about that.
I can't afford to be tipping the doorman every single time we try to enter our house.
This area where you've been having your conversation is all decorated in synthetic stone, a very warm, rich color, a golden and tan kind of marble, flecks of black through it, and the motif at first is not obvious, but you've had your conversation, you've been standing here for a while, snow dripping off you in this perfect temperature controlled environment, and you notice that there is imprinted almost everywhere the eye can see is the idea of 4. There are overt 4s in, standard numerals in things subtly, right? But also every aspect of the design leads you to, there's 4 banks of elevators, and the chessboard-like black and white flooring brings to mind this notion of 2 plus 2. Everywhere is visual reinforcement of the level that you're on.
Intriguing.
The shops and, other lifestyle businesses, such as getting, your hair done or this sort of stuff. This is spread subtly and conveniently and privately out from this area. There are plants. There are huge wall covering displays, 2-dimensional displays, 3-dimensional displays. And as you move, both of you are sensing companies trying to access your chips, right? To identify who you are, to be able to market to you directly. Things that happened automatically down in the streets, but it's almost like there's no record of you as legitimate customers. Like, welcome back, Miss. And then it just goes to standard promotional material, like advertising what their services are, rather than reminding you of your pleasurable past experiences with them.
We stick out like a sore thumb in many different ways, Jorn. Let's get you suitably attired.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking around and I see. I mean, I'm so lost in this place. So I'm just going to the map, virtual map in my head, and I'm looking for like super classy, androgynous clothing, androgynous clothing, and I find like this boutique, that is on the 3rd floor, not really far from here, and I said let's start there first, So we walk.
Tess like looks at the description. That he sends her the signal. She looks at him and says, "Perhaps we can try this other store." And she brings up this men's store, which is much more businesslike and austere and not androgynous at all. And if you recall Tessa's apartment, if anybody's been in Tessa's apartment, she had a full selection of men's clothes as well, which she bought apparently for her customers.
And I swipe right, going back to the first one, and I'm like, nah, this is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we need.
And, I do not believe anybody above the age of 21 buys those clothes.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I believe they are not for people your age.
I'm sorry, I don't hear it, Tess. I don't hear you well in this place. I'm sorry, and then I'm walking in the direction, and I'm walking. He's walking like like a leprechaun. So super happy to be like looking at everybody, because there's some people walking around. He's looking at them, smiling, but I mean, he has these dirty boots that are full of this. In the winter, the snow that is melting with the brownish slush. And he's walking in the thing, and his boots are making super annoying sound on the thing as he running toward, not running, but walking really fast toward the androgynous clothing boutique.
All right, so what's the name of this boutique?
It's called Jinxie Styles.
Jinxie Style.
Jinxie Style.
All right, so as you get near, your implants again play this generic, try Jinxie Style kind of advertising, right? You won't regret it. Your friends will say you look great. But when you walk in, the clerk is looking the other direction. And it's hard to tell, obviously, if the clerk is a man, a woman, or something else. And they start with the standard slogan like, "Welcome to Jinxie Style." And then kind of gets a grip on themselves and comes forward and said, "What happened to you? Were you robbed?"
No. I'm new around. I'm the new guy on the block. But I need to get some fresh clothes though, and my friend is
Yes,
coming
you
with me.
do.
Oh no, yeah, of course, and my friend is coming with me, and she's the super nicest, best client you ever seen. So make sure we get some proper manutention. Like I'd like to have like a seat, like a room for me. I need to try a lot of stuff on.
Yes, we have to get you out of the. Yes, and she's ushering you into the back so that no one can see you.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Oh, and can you, she's a little loud. She's a little loud. Can you put like a sound canceling, like situation? Because I mean, we're gonna be we get crazy sometimes. Just
Of
sound
course,
canceling.
privacy is our number one, is one of our top concerns.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
He or she can't stop themselves from feeling the fabric of your clothes and trying to hide the look of disgust at the material, the cut, and the filth is impossible. But the smile, this there's a great job to have that smile.
So
And
as
then the
we
mouth
end,
just drops open when Tess walks in.
and I'm like, oh, and then before we enter the special room, I make sure I scream really loud. I'm like, Tess, like this place is amazing. I'm telling you, like I already see all kinds of stuff, and they prepare a special room for us. And then I do a little dance move, like that's putting some filth on the perfectly clean floor, and then I tap my boots and go quick quick quick, and there is some some slushy stuff going on, and I'm like, come on in, it's great.
The automated cleaners come out of the wall and just start sucking up the moisture and cleaning up the filth.
And all I say as I pass the clerk, month clerk is, do you have a recycler? We may need to get rid of quite a bit of his clothing.
I'm going to burn it.
I would suggest that.
And I'll try and burn the memory out of my mind.
Yeah, and I've already transferred like enough credit, like automatically for at least a few suits of clothes. So to ensure that yes, we're really serious. We're going to buy something.
The advertising has then changed for Tess. It's now targeted, very specific. Everything in the shop that fits her, dimensions.
Right.
And you're getting bombarded with mental images. Imagine how awesome you'd look, for the next office party.
All right, so as we enter the special room, the door closed behind us, and we hear like this sound canceling sound.
Right.
And I turn around and I'm like, okay, we are in deep shit. This is part of the act. Like these guys, I'm pretty sure we got set up for a trap here. I don't want to go down. And you're totally right. So now let's say let's act like we're buying a lot of stuff and we're happy and all that, and make sure that you don't you don't ask any more questions about anything, about Cadmus and about all that. Like I'm telling you, this place is. I think it's the bail. So as I say that, I order at the same time like things from the thing, so we don't look like we are planning something. And then I choose a couple things, and so they come in with the clothes. So as soon as they come with the clothes, we just keep on the act.
And I look at them.
Things get a little weird.
And I talk. I mean, I don't talk online. I talk in real.
Right. So they come in with your selections. They come in with some suggestions for Tess. And,
I took my shirt off, so I'm half naked. I'm like, hey, do you guys have some wine?
They're coming in with wine, and they're demanding that all the clothes come off. And there's another clerk who's standing back with this sealed trash bag. It says "warning acid" on the side. You know,
So I'm like, so my
there's a
selection.
tray of hors d'oeuvres. There's, you know, it's nice.
So I selected a super white, stretchy, like latex white, like with some transparent thing here on the side, and it's a full body thing with, and the lower part is like boots, so, but it's part of the thing, and then over top I wear a thing, you know, it's like a cape, but a cape that you put on your shoulder, so it hold on the shoulder, you know, and it goes down like just the upper, just right above the ass, so you can see the fine cut of the butt of the latex, and you have the cape like that, and I have my.
Remind me if I'm wrong, but Yorn is like 6'4" and about maybe 50 kilos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure this is what I'm seeing.
And they have something, so I changed, like it's a thing that you put at the on your head, and you change the hair color. So I put my hair white. My hair becomes white, and everything becomes white. You know, and I have my lips, and I put the thing on the lips, and I have white lips, shiny white lips, and then my skin, I have a skin gem, so I can change my skin tone. So I put my skin in a graphite, like shiny graphite kind of thing, and it looks like so I'm almost, so I look super feminine. I have long nails, but I still have my voice, right? I still have the same voice, and the eyes are glooming, and so I put the eyes like not silver, but like chromey, like eyes thing. And then I'm turning around and I'm looking at this and like, yeah, how do I look now? How do I look? How do you feel about this? I mean, we're gonna be perfect around in these parts. Like they won't see anything. They won't see anything.
You look
Clerks
magnificent.
are happy.
Yeah. And I'm already like going through Yorn's duffel bag. Just didn't even ask him, and I'm starting to put more clothes into the garbage bag. and letting them know they need to bring in some more clothes. I'll have to get a few more.
I think I need a hat. I would love a hat.
We have this lovely array of wide-brimmed, low-rise hats.
I don't know. I'd rather have like a high top, really, you know, with a short cut.
Well, they haven't been in fashion for a number of years, but you might try bringing it back.
Yeah, I will bring it back. Bring me two of those. Two of those. Just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
So as the clerk leave and the door shut again, I'm like, all right, Tess. So whenever I speak, you know, out loud to Tess, I shut my, you know, my computer thing, and so I'm like, okay, Tess. So now that we cleaned up and we look like we are doing anything right, you know, we're gonna go eat some, maybe grab some, and then see, and maybe take a look and see if we are followed, or if people are looking for us or something. But I don't know. We need to go to the apartment, though. But we need to go there already. And I'm not killing anyone. You know, I'm not doing anything violent.
Okay,
You know,
well, I will have to kill more.
well, you did. I'm pretty sure you should not. So I will try to sway Tess not to kill people. I don't know if it's something I can
That's
do.
something you guys need to work out between yourselves in an you know, a old-fashioned role-playing kind of way. You want to persuade her? Persuade her.
Yeah. So you know what? You should not. You don't kill. Like the whole. we look. If I think we should ask the veil before going there to see if it's the veil that sent a trap for us there.
Are you feeling all right, Yorn? Have you taken drug today.
No. But I mean, like it's too easy.
Do you want to ask the Veil if it, in fact, has surreptitiously set a trap for us that we're not supposed to know about till we're there? Am I following you correctly? It does not sound like the best plan.
You know what we should do? We should get into an apartment next to Cadmus's and maybe listen or look or see what's going on. Oh no, I have an idea. Listen. We gonna go to the top, and I'm gonna act like if I'm sick. And we're gonna call like the emergency people, for to help me out, saying like I wanted to get inside my maybe I can act like the door won't open. Maybe we can do something about it. Maybe you can act the door or something, like the door won't open, so we need to bring some more people, and so that way we expose anybody or anyone that is inside. Do you follow me, Tess? I mean, that's what
You want witnesses. I understand. You don't want us.
Yeah. Just want I want a surprise. I want to do something that was not in the plan.
Perhaps we can have these nice people deliver you your clothes and deliver them at the same time as we go up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, but I keep
Perhaps we can have people from the other store deliver you some clothes.
Food as well. Are you hungry? I'm hungry. Listen, let's make a couple delivery there, and then we look from the hallway as the door open. They deliver stuff in. How about that?
That sounds like we would have witnesses. That is a good plan. And I will, if things should become unpleasant, I will try to only incapacitate anybody rather than kill them.
You look, listen. If thing gets ugly, we run. How about that?
Tess thinks this over for a while. Like, I can run faster than you, Jorn.
I have a good suit now. I'm really light on my feet. I have long legs, and I've been running all my life.
Yes, but I feel some sense of responsibility for you.
Well,
I've heard an old adage that I do not make you run faster than them.
Run slower than I and protect my back. How about that? That way I can utilize you as a shield, so you will fulfill your responsibility. Come on, Tess. You don't have much time. These people are gonna come back.
And I put my hands on his shoulders. I will take the appropriate actions. I will not do anything that will make you too distressed.
I just don't want you to kill anything or anybody or anyone, because we are just. Whenever you hurt somebody, you hurt a part of me, right? And you hurt a part of yourself as well. So let's try not to be.
Perhaps you should tell them that.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. But
so your time in the clothing store comes to an end, and you are ordering food and deliveries and making your way up to the actual apartment. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So on your way out of the clothing store, oh, we lost somebody. On the way out of the clothing store, the clerk thanks you personally, individually, Tess,
Yeah.
for coming. And then, whispers, friend to friend style, which is maybe how communication happens on this level, right? Subtly to the side, right? That while you look fine, right? The cut is good, but people will know that the material is a cheaper material. You're wearing knockoffs, is what she's saying.
I understand. Perhaps you have something like this, perhaps a little more austere and a better type.
Well, I'd love for you to buy here, but it's obvious that your style would be better served by a different boutique. Now, my friend works in one. It's not too far from here. If you'd take my recommendation.
Absolutely. I just ask for the information.
Okay. So she links the information of the boutique to you.
Right. And I'm literally going to just send go through their catalog as fast as possible. Find something, in my size, just do the transfer back and forth of dimensions and just request it to be delivered immediately. Transfer the cred.
All right. So that all happens in a split second. It's just ordering online.
Right.
And then you see a huge sunny smile break out across the clerk's face, as if she's in communication
I'm still
with
here.
someone. And she just, she puts both of her hands out as if to take one of your hands, and she bows to say thank you.
Thank you. The information is appreciated. And I do my best impression of a real genuine smile.
Well, she smiles back.
I haven't quite mastered that yet. I have the come hither smile reserved for Johns and easily swayed men, but not so much the friendly smile.
Right.
It's still a little tough.
So when the clerk's eyes finally make their way up to your face, it's a little off-put, a little bit of that uncanny valley thing going on. But thanks you again for your patronage, and
You're ready.
So, although we talk about this as levels, there are of course many floors within a level. Right, so we're on the ground floor of the lowest upper level.
Right.
And there are many, 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 many floors. Some of them are attached to subtle shadings of status, and this becomes obvious as soon as you get into the elevators. There are some floors that you can access simply by choosing them, either physically or by link. And there are some that require authorization. And the higher up you go inside this level structure, the more complicated that authorization is, until it's finally biometric. To get to the floor that the apartment is on, you can access simply by choosing it.
So apparently Cadmus is not quite that rich.
I want to utilize, I want to analyze the apartment before going there, because I have all the information, when I received the notice thing of ownership. Total. I have everything. So I just want to, I want to go online and I want to analyze the place. I want to see if it's already open. I want to know when the door was open the last time. All that.
All right. So this is a request for information using the veil. So this is lift the veil.
Lift the veil. It's not analyzed when you have a. Okay, perfect. Lift the veil.
Yep.
So it's a 9.
Okay.
So on
give
a
you an
7-9, the MC will give you an impression.
So the lawyers. You okay? The lawyers obviously had to, go in and inspect the place. Not all of Cadmus's personal effects have been left to you. The apartment has been left to you. So there's that registered access. So people have been in and out of the apartment since Cadmus's death. Cleaners and building management and the law firm. As to when, it's not really certain, but the last access by the lawyers was the day before they contacted you.
So I'm looking at that, and I'm like, well, it's not super. The information I received is not super clear, but let's see what it is. So what do you think, Tess? We should. Do you think we should stay just right, in the hallway and wait for the delivery and see about that?
It is possible. And so I'd like to just kind of analyze the situation, just really kind of look around and see if I see anything out of place, anything that looks like an ambush or what have you. But I'm not telling me. I think we should wait for the delivery people, but I'm going to take the time in between there to just really see if I see anything out of the ordinary or it looks dangerous.
All right. Well, let's analyze.
All righty.
Remember the emotion. We forgot emotion.
Right.
Since the beginning. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I forgot. I rolled 2 times and I forgot 2 times. So.
Right now, up here, as she's going, she's a little concerned. So I'm going to say scared.
All right.
A little concerned. And that is a 5 altogether. That is a miss, as we say.
Well. You've never been here before or on this level before. Here's what stands out. Each of these floors inside the levels is, in a sense, color-coded. Getting darker the higher you go. Right? Why that might be, it's harder to maintain a high gloss, dark surface. There's simply more attention paid on the higher levels. This looks like quite comfortable living. According to Yorn, the apartment was rated for 2 occupants. And if the space between the doors is an indication of the size of the apartment, several families could live in these apartments on ground level.
Right.
Your apartment that you were renting above the bar might not even be as big as one of the rooms in these places. It's luxurious. It's quiet. There's no sign of people. And there is a sign that the police have been here. You can clearly see the yellow overlay, right, in the veil, indicating that the apartment had been searched. And again, the obscured, encrypted data file that a police officer would see and be able to access, but normal people cannot.
All right.
Now, hey, Tess, remember that as we wait for the delivery people, and then everything is clean and silent. I don't, Jorn doesn't feel doesn't feel like he's in danger. So I turn around and I look at Tess and I say, remember when Cadmus, destroyed, beat to death that guy
Oh yes, I remember.
in the bar? Remember that? I mean, maybe the police were looking for him for that, because he did that in front of everyone. There was some cameras everywhere and stuff, and he beat the shit out of this guy. So
I imagine they were. Then of course his gun was used to murder a man
as well. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. That's what's happening here. So maybe there is there've been some police search for the apartment, and now maybe they want to interrogate us. We were there, and people have seen us.
So it's possible we may be exposing ourselves here.
Is this a private chat, or are you speaking aloud?
I'm speaking aloud. No.
So someone clears their voice, or clears their throat behind you.
I turn around.
Turning around. There's a gentleman in a very long coat. Neither of you can figure out how it was that you missed him. Nondescript. Nothing particularly stands out about him. No obvious cyberware. Just a long brown coat and a very expensive looking brown cigarette. And he says, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. Both of you know the former occupant of that apartment. One." He checks his notepad. He's got to be a cop. Cadmus Buchanan.
That is correct. We were acquainted.
And
I'm
you
glad
are?
I'm still. My name is Tess.
Full name?
Thank you. Tess Smith.
You are trying. All right.
She just looks down that list of names. Oh, that's a good one.
And you?
Oh, my name is Jorn. I'm the new owner of this apartment.
Ah.
And I send him the official papers. Here's the paperwork.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps we could talk. There's something about his tone that says, even if you do mind, you're going to be talking.
Of course. And is his cigarette already lit?
Yeah, no problem. What?
It's not.
Let's go inside. Let's go inside. I can open the door and we'll be comfortable, and I'm waiting on some delivery.
He says, "Oh, good. It's always good to have witnesses."
So we walk toward the door, and what I do is I say, well, after you. See, you've been there before.
I have, so I don't want to stand in, your first impression of real human living.
Well, no, I don't mind.
All right. Please unlock the door.
It's done.
So you get a confirmation from your door. The door has been opened. And this is your first time unlocking the door, and there's a whole host of menus. You know, you can choose the voice, choose the diction, choose the language. How would you like your home to communicate with you?
And I say, yeah, you know, and then I just swipe away these things, and I let the, and I say, after you, officer.
He moves into the house and steps to the left, again, so as not to block your view. You're looking through the apartment, through the main living area, and out the floor to ceiling window of the main area, looking out at snow.
So at this point, Tess just walks past both of them, kind of strides in there. You can hear her heels kind of clacking as she's walking in there, and just taking the entire apartment in. Just this large, bare, uncluttered space, and lights up one of her cigarettes right there in the middle of the apartment. Turns around and gives them the most winning smile she possibly can. The smile she reserves for men. Says, yes, let's talk.
The door closes. There's some furniture. There's clear signs that the place has been cleaned. A lot of stuff, not a lot of stuff, but stuff has been removed. Right, the closets are empty. There's no shoes, things like that. Right, personal effects are gone, but many things are still present, like a display along the wall of a man wearing the same clothes, but clearly what's changing in the picture is himself, right? And the later pictures in the series are the Cadmus that you knew. But other than that detail, there doesn't seem to be much left in the way of anything like a personal effect, like books or artifacts or mementos. It's like a hotel room.
I can't imagine Cadmus living like this. He was austere, but not quite so austere. I imagine somebody cleaned all this out.
Yes, most of it is with my department. I'm with homicide. I'm Detective Alouette.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Detective.
Pleased to meet you. So, what can I do for you today, officer? As I sit in on the new couch, on my new couch, I sit, you know, and looking outside by the snow.
If you could give me an official statement about what I unofficially heard in the hallway about the murder, that would help.
Well, I don't know. I've heard some rumors on the streets about a bartender, bar owner that I used to know, that I knew, who got his head, well, who got beaten to death. People were talking about a guy dressed just like in the pictures you see there, and so I kind of took for granted that it might have been Cadmus or something, and no.
You might not have spoken with a police detective before. He looks at his notepad again. Yorn. But one of the things that we are equipped with is biometric sensors that help us detect, changes in skin temperature, increases of heartbeat, pupil dilation, this sort of stuff. Of course, you conveniently
Yeah.
have artificial
Mhm.
eyes.
Mm.
But generally speaking, we can tell when someone's lying.
Well,
Yes.
I don't. Well, I wasn't there, so I'm not lying. I don't know.
Let me be specific about my question. We have video surveillance and we have witnesses that state it was Cadmus Buchanan. The problem is that, well, the person they're saying is Cadmus Buchanan is not the person we have official files for. He doesn't match height,
Mm.
weight, or other physical characteristics.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That I know that. Yeah, I've seen Cadmus change. Yeah, yeah. He had some kind of a disease thing going on.
A disease.
Yeah, some kind of a thing like a some kind of a. I don't know exactly how to say that, but have you heard about the whole like you know we are part of like this bigger sentient thing, right? Like we are all part of it, and so sometimes people change because of the whole that changes as well. Like me, look at me today. You saw me when I arrived. You can see I
We've
changed.
been watching you for a few days, yes.
Yeah. So I changed, and then he changed, and so I don't think it's complicated. What I do know is that he said he was about to die, and he did. That I know.
So you're saying you're officially reporting as a witness that Cadmus Buchanan is dead. How did he die?
Not sure. I wasn't there.
Then how do you know he's dead?
Because he told me that he was sick and that he had like 2 days to live, and then he disappeared, and I never see him again. And then I receive his inheritance. So I guess he's dead.
Fair enough. Are you stoned right now? Are you under the influence of a mind-altering chemical?
I'm always under the influence of a mind-altering chemical. It's part of my religion.
You may find that the laws governing mind-altering substances on this level are enforced.
Oh well, I have nothing on me. You can search me. But I'm always on the chemical because of my belief. You know.
Your belief that you should always be stoned?
No, my belief that we are part of the whole. It's like it's a thing that we do for prayer and meditation. It's if I recall, religious beliefs and practices are not supposed to be discriminated, if I recall. And
Well, I don't
so,
mean to judge you. However, allow me to posit. Excuse me, miss.
oh,
I
I'm
don't mean
not a
to take
miss.
up your valuable
I,
time,
I'm,
but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Don't call me a miss. I'm not a miss.
I was referring to the lady.
I answer the door because at this point my packages come, my deliveries come, and I grab the food, grab the clothes. Not only Jorn's clothes, I put Jorn's clothes down, but I grab mine and I go right into the other room where it's clear that I'm right there, and but you can hear me like taking the clothes I have off and putting a different set of clothes on.
So he's a little distracted, but he tries to stick with it. And so I won't take up too much of your time, but and he again looks at his notes. Yorn, allow me to posit something. You say that we have the condition of we are part of a whole consciousness.
Yes.
No
It's not just a
qualification. We are a part of it.
yeah, but it's not a consciousness per se. It's life.
Oh,
It's God, right? It's
all
the
right. So we are a part of God. We are a
yeah.
part of all living things.
Yes. Yeah, for sure, for
Well, if
sure.
that is your contention, why then is a mind-altering chemical necessary to be a part of what you're already a part of?
Oh no, it's not necessary to be a part of what we are already a part. It's necessary to reach a certain level of consciousness when we pray, when we meditate, when we want to feel the deeper connection within. It's just a matter of spiritual entitlement and responsibility, you know.
Or
But you, like I say, you can search me. I have nothing on me. It's just I did my thing. I consumed some of that, earlier today. But today, I mean, I was in the slums where everything is kasher. Excuse the language.
you are not in the slums anymore. And
Yes,
I work homicide.
yes.
I don't need to further burden myself with vice investigations. And as I leave you, let me leave you with this thought. And he's moving toward the door. He says, I'm going to continue to investigate your connections to, and he gestures at the wall, this Cadmus Buchanan. I'm going to continue to investigate anyone who can't supply a last name, which interestingly is both of you. And I'm going to figure out why it is that someone who can change their appearance would leave this real estate to someone who could actually just be them. Have
Listen.
a good day.
Oh, I'm sorry. The officer. Before you go, there's a few things we need to consider. First thing, I didn't ask for it. I received this in the morning. Ownership status. I received that in the morning. You can track the legal.
I have.
Yeah, well, tell me more. Is it coming from a guy named Cadmus Buchanan? Do you have a date?
Absolutely is. The question
Oh,
is,
yeah.
to whom did it go?
It goes to me. My name is Jorn. We in the slums. We don't have a second name because we're the scum of the earth. I don't even knew my parents. So, what can I say? And she is not a human. She's a robot. She's a thing. She's a construct. So of course she doesn't have a name. She has a number though.
So he looks to Tess and says, just how much did he consume today?
I imagine it was quite a bit. Detective, are you open-minded?
I'd like to think I am.
Listen, officer, don't go. Like, let's grab a coffee. There's some food coming in. Are you hungry? Like, she's my friend. Like, we wish for a better living. I'm doing my thing online now. I'm totally legal. And she is as well. Everybody needs a little comfort.
And I just completely ignore everything that you're saying and then walk closer to the detective with my.
So he's moving closer to the door.
Yeah, come on.
So I lean over to the detective, and I can't remember the date. I think it was a Monday, but I couldn't be sure. But if you have access, I would check the security cameras at the Nexus on the day that Lewis was beaten to death. I believe you will see on the camera. You will see Jorn throw a beer bottle at Lewis and then be ejected. There perhaps, I believe, was some gesticulations with the middle finger and some other.
You're telling me that I'm going to see Cadmus or someone purporting to be Cadmus and Yorn together at the same place, and therefore they can't possibly be the same person.
That is correct. I was also there. You will see me as well.
I'll check it out.
However, you know, and I give him like my number. Feel free to call me.
I will.
Listen, officer. Actually, I have eyes that record pretty much everything. So I just need to go back and I send you the file. And you see Cadmus in front of me. It's easier that way. I can do both. Can compare both if you want to.
Please do.
Totally legit.
He broadcasts his official link.
I send him the 24-hour of the same day you've mentioned. It was Whiteout Wednesday. Everybody know about that.
Before that, he'll have a great view of you begging me for money, and then being out in the snow. I'm trying to think what else you did. That's it.
But hey, man, say, hey, officer. You know, you're always welcome here. We're nice people, so we have nothing to hide neither.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Are you sure you don't want some Chinese? We ordered some Chinese from the 3rd level of the 1st floor. It's pretty good.
Have a good night. And he leaves.
Close the door.
Without ever lighting his cigarette.
I walk up to Yorn, blow smoke right in his face. Yorn, don't ever tell anybody that I'm an artificial person again.
Why not? You are, Tess. You are. It's important.
Do you see that window, Yorn? Do you see how far it is down to the ground?
Come on.
I do not wish to have to throw you through that window and have you experience.
Well, we're so high in the sky. If you throw me down that window, the air pressure will suck you out with me. You don't even want to consider that. And this is the kind of stuff you should know. And as I do that, I tap her on the shoulder, and I give her a glass of wine because I already opened the door of the fridge and there's some wine, and then I poured some, and then I'm like, yes, and then some, and then at the same time, ding dong, we hear the bell ring and someone is bringing in some food.
Fantastic.
How about that? It's good life, and there's plenty of room to both of us.
Yes, it is definitely a pleasant apartment. But what are we supposed to do? Just live here? Without a sense of purpose?
Nah, man. Listen, I'm going to be preaching, online, everywhere around this building. And, but at the same time, Cadmus died at the end of this terrorist group, isn't it? Because last time I was with him, he went to kind of confront them for some reason, and I urged him not. So maybe we should see about that on this level. What's the influence of these people around here? I'm not quite sure, though. I'm not quite sure. Personally, I mean, do you remember anything about what you've done and what happened to you? You've been like the fact that you've been kind of like utilized by the Veil to do some terrible things.
I do not forget things.
Yeah, well,
Rich did give me all the information he had on the X Series program, so I have a fair idea of where Cadmus was going. while I was still coming back online. But I do not believe that that program was responsible for his death. Perhaps they may have killed him ultimately, but they were not part of the reason that he died. I did, in some way, eliminate Target 38, so in a sense, his father is dead. However, the Veil itself, utilizing that program, really was the final, or the culprit, the entity that chose to infect him, essentially condemned him to death. And Cadmus did want that information to be publicized. He wanted the world to know what was really going on, and also what the Veil really is. These are the kind of things that I believe we should do to honor his legacy. I do not believe you were given this apartment just to live a comfortable life.
There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking, because why don't we search the place a little, and maybe we'll find some information. Maybe there is some stuff. Maybe he left us a note or something.
I believe that the police would have all of that information. They seem to have searched this.
It depends. It depends, though. It depends. Maybe he left something for us, and it's locked somehow, somewhere. Maybe there is something that's supposed to pop up in the future. Why don't we just analyze?
I'll lift the veil.
Well, yeah, all right.
I'll go right in.
You go right in. All right. Well, let's go about that now.
It's up to you. You can do either one, right? Or you can do both.
Yeah, well.
I'll lift the veil. I'll go right into full-on examination.
So the lift the veil move can either show you the reality of this place by separating yourself from the overlay, or it's just a search for information using the veil, or it's an attempt to recollect. So it's a very broad palette of things that lift the veil does.
I don't know that lifting the veil just to see if he's written something on the real actual walls makes any kind of sense. So I would think just actually looking for information, or searching for information itself in the veil, whether Cadmus has left any kind of message or what have you that might just respond to us, as opposed to
make it happen.
And so that's my and I'm going to feel pretty powerful at this moment, which gives me no modifier whatsoever.
Why powerful?
Because I guess mostly because I can do this sort of thing, that I'm not human, that I should be able to look for these things better, with more greater understanding, and also powerful because I believe that I'm become convinced that this is probably more important, that Cadmus has put us here for a reason. I feel obligated to kind of live up to his dying wishes, so to speak. And let's see if that nets me. Oh, that's a 10. Okay. An actual strong hit. My God.
I'll give you good detail.
Okay. So,
something new and interesting about the current situation, and I'll ask you a question or two.
Yep.
Okay. So, in this huge apartment, right? 2 bedrooms, each bedroom with a separate bath, large separate kitchen, large separate dining area, large separate living area, entrance, right? The only obvious trace left of Cadmus is that display wall of images. And you saw him on his personal device frequently tracking the progress of his disease by taking pictures of himself.
Right, every day, yeah.
Where would he hide something? So describe your search. Where do you...
Well, I'm searching in any kind of digital file. I guess any kind of picture file he would have had.
You should look into the mirror. What did you record in his bathroom mirror? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's talk about that. I'm pretty sure you spent a lot of time in front of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I'm pretty tired, so my conscience has told me that's what I should look for.
Okay. So there are 2 bedrooms. Because everything has been removed, there's no indication if he lived here with anybody.
Right.
And there's very simple furniture left in each one. Again, he was an austere fellow. There's a hint of him here. Right? He lived in spaces. He didn't really decorate spaces. In the bathroom mirror, there's a whole variety of functions that it can perform. Health checks, heart rate, blood pressure, all of that stuff, diary, day planner. And when your faces align in the mirror together, it signals you have one new message. And it's dated from Whiteout Wednesday.
Play.
The screen initiates a download of a key, an encrypted key, which unlocks a file in Yorn's chip.
Ooh.
I'm like,
and he can see as an overlay on the mirror streams and streams and streams and streams of encrypted data that's decrypting. Names, dates, chemicals. This is all of the evidence that Cadmus had amassed.
I receive all that.
Fantastic.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Tess, I just received a lot of data. I just really don't know what to do with all that. Do you think we should call the officer, the detective guy, and ask him to do some search? Or I don't know.
I believe we should have another discussion with him. I think he may be the type of man obsessed with the truth, much like Cadmus. And so I believe that perhaps if we present him with the correct type of evidence, perhaps.
Because the thing, but yeah, well, the thing is that maybe we could just, make him aware of what's going on with the veil.
I believe that is a good idea. I think that we should be cautious, though, to make sure that he is the type of person that would help us. Somebody that would not feel more of a sense of loyalty towards maintaining the status quo.
Yeah, well, how do you think we can do that? I mean, how can we test him?
I believe perhaps we can talk to him and feed him bits of information. See what his reaction is. Maybe not be quite so flamboyant, expressive.
Yorn, you get a signal that someone has entered this apartment as their code to enter the building. So basically, someone's on their way up.
Someone's on the way up now?
Yep.
How about that for a cliffhanger?
Well, I'm considering this while I'm downloading all the information, making a copy.
No, but what I'm saying is that how about that to end the session?
Oh,
How
yeah.
about that for a cliffhanger?
Oh,
Yeah, if we're out of time, then that's a good as place as any to stop.
Yes.
Someone's at the door.
Yeah, because I want to take at least a 15, 20 minutes to discuss with you guys,
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll finish with someone's at the door. All right.
So how did you like your first session emceeing, Anthony?
I regret not asking you to explore the emotions of the early roles.
No, my mistake. It's my mistake. I completely forgot. We forgot. We forgot. I forgot. I completely forgot as well. 2 times. It's okay.
But I mean, what I was doing was I sat here with your beliefs in front of me. If I wasn't hearing them in play, then I was going to poke for them. And I had the MC quick reference page up that has the principles and, make it with the list of MC moves right there at the top of the page. So that's what I'm actually sitting here looking at.
Right.
And I didn't pay too much attention to the principles because I've read them so many times. They seem to be the things that I normally do anyway. So I didn't want to confuse myself by scanning it constantly to see, well, should I do this or should I do that?
Right.
I just looked at the moves so that when there was an opportunity to introduce something in a way that, like if I were watching a movie or reading a book and I was thinking, oh, it'd be really cool if this happened, I find that there's usually a move toward that purpose.
Right.
So as I'm hearing stuff, what I'm thinking about is this a point where I should interrupt with a move? Or is this a point where the players, through their characters, need time to think and explore and get their characters out on the page and put their beliefs out there and put their goals out there so that there can be some conflict rather than me. I didn't want to drop anything on you. This happened. So like as an example of that, Jorn's preaching on the street. I could have opened the scene with, and you're harassed by the police. But I chose instead to foreshadow possible police activity by just having them watch. Now, what are you going to do when you have the sense that they're watching you? So as we were getting close to, I guess, the 2-hour mark, I started to feel like there hadn't been enough conflict or friction. There had just been, like a day in the life of Jorn and Tess. But I don't know how it felt on your end. That's how it felt to me.
Personally, I think this is perfect. In terms of a first session, as you as an MC, and also coming back to the game because it's been a while, isn't it? It's one of the longest. So I needed to connect with Tess, especially with my character and Tess. These guys haven't been gaming, role playing together for a long time. So I needed that personally, and I appreciate the fact that it's a new environment, it's a new look, it's a new way of dealing with things, like and the rush of the Cadmus is dying day by day is gone because we spent 2 weeks in between, and then now we have time to breathe. So I personally appreciated a lot of like this opportunity at the beginning of the session just to talk and have fun and get back into character, because I needed that personally. So I don't know about you, Ivan.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. It was neat to see, because I kept on thinking to myself, well, what the hell are these two really doing together? The only thing they had in common, other than the first time they met, and that Jorn took pity on her and said, "Hey, baby, let's go buy you some clothes, but I don't have any money." Was the only thing holding them together is Cadmus, because they're just so different. And now here they are, and I was wondering to myself, well, how are we going to continue this? Are we going to just continue the same day? And now we have to go avenge Cadmus and go guns blazing, or well, I'd go guns blazing. I'm thinking, well, that's kind of, so it's neat to just kind of have that period of time where it's like, okay, well, they're just kind of hanging on to each other because they don't have anything else to hang on to. Yeah. And it was neat to, well, I was thinking to myself too, well, Tess, hasn't been reprogrammed, but Rich did something to her. She's not quite the slave she used to be in a lot of regards. So she's not prostituting. She's not doing those things. She has a lot of money, or a good amount of money. She I knew she liked clothes. I'm thinking, okay, well, Tessa's trying to figure out what is she going to do now. And Yorn, it was kind of neat to just kind of get transported up to this different level, like you said, and just kind of figure out, well, how do these two characters really interact with each other? And it was actually very surprising to me to, like, as we go up and we're up in the cloud layer, and to realize Tessa's like, oh, thank God there's no freaking people. This is so much better. I think I hate those.
I definitely, yeah.
And Yorn, I gotta start turning Yorn's volume down too, because he's getting a little freaking. I mean, she likes him.
And Yorn,
she has to a friend, but.
And me, I just wanted to reinforce the human side of Yorn, like being a child, like, oh my God, I've never been in these parts. I mean, you rich now, like, it's like, okay, I like, so, and also the idea, I could reinforce as well the idea of preaching online, because now on this level, doesn't have to be on the street anymore and stuff. So this is cool because it creates a contrast, a new environment to play in, another way of going about. And then also the detective guy, that's really important, I feel, because it brings back the fact that you're not going without impunity. Cadmus needs to be, but now that it creates this new opportunity to either get an ally, because he's not aware of what's going on, or depending on the interaction we have with him, like an opportunity to shoot ourselves in the foot and have another enemy as well. So it's like, okay, so what are we gonna do?
I like that. Well, I really appreciate it as soon as the detective showed up and he started the type of questions he started asking. Yeah. I like that because it is this other method. Well, gosh, we have the opportunity to go through your implant and like broadcast all over the veil, or that this is the real truth. Like, these chemtrails are real, man. You're being poisoned, by aliens. I'm like, okay, well, how many people are really going to believe that? It's we could get the information out there, but or you can actually talk to somebody that has credibility, which neither of us have.
Yeah.
And the fact that it instantly struck me, my God, this guy is a lot like Cadmus. I mean, not he has that same kind of mentality. The truth, is important. Duty's important. So it's a matter, I instantly thinking, the test is thinking, well, we got to feel this guy out. Is this the way we should honor Cadmus's wish, or not, or do we? It's kind of confusing at this point in her head. So I kind of like this session, like easing into, like, to me it was like this big setting a stage. Like, here's.
I feel like it's the new chapter. Like, it's if the story would have been in 3 chapters, it's a new one, or in 2 chapters. Like, now this is the second one that begins and it's the end kind of thing. So how it's gonna go, what's gonna happen about the next 2 sessions. It's of course, like, I have a belief here, and it's similar to yours, Ivan. It's Cadmus' death should mean something. You talking about revenge, I'm talking about meaning, which doesn't have to be violent. Right. So the idea is the same idea, is that he dealt with, I don't remember the name of this terrorist group. What's the name of these guys?
Well, they weren't really terrorists. They were just the
Anonymous.
The Anonymous, yeah, the Anonymous. Okay. So yeah, they are like an organization of people.
Right.
So I think Cadmus died while he was trying to talk with these people, isn't it? And he destroyed some kind of a computer thing. I just don't remember exactly what it is. I couldn't have. I didn't.
Well, Yorn wasn't there.
Oh yeah, Yorn wasn't there anyway. But yeah, so. But we know that happened because of the rest of the story. But so what So what we should do now, Tess and I, you should get some information about these data, and then if these data telling us something important toward the big picture of the story, then we can finish what's going on and give a meaning to Cadmus' death by accomplishing what's this saying on the data, kind of thing. This is something I see now that can be, you know, foreshadowed somehow, but at the same time, it doesn't. I mean, we don't know, and this is what I liked with your GMing, because you've seen me, you've seen Ivan, and now you know that you realize that, well, the job of the MC in a PTB powered by the Apocalypse PDA game is just passive. Is you're there, and then really sometimes you react to what we do, or you just put something. And I didn't felt rushed or didn't felt pushed at all in this session. So I would say it's a great session. You know?
One thing I liked about the session was starting with this Whiteout Wednesday, and I was so happy that it was a Wednesday.
Yeah, right on.
Right, so all this emotion, like those first 6 sessions were incredibly emotional. You know, we're sitting here talking about life and death and existentialism and you know and self-sacrifice, and you know, I'll die to save you. No, I'll die to save you, and no, nobody has to die. Oh wait, somebody died, and all of that. I wanted to start the session. The only thing I had in my mind was I wanted to start the session with all of that experience from everybody else's point of view has been wiped away.
Yeah, gone. And it felt like it. It felt like that. It worked.
And then it was cool to end with the detective and the data dump from Cadmus. Right? So they've already wiped out that entire disaster and turned it into just a storm kind of thing.
Right.
And what
and
can
now
you
someone
do?
is knocking. Someone is knocking at the door.
Yeah.
And now there's someone at the door, right? So it's good. It's like, okay, so what's gonna happen about that? And it's like it feels. It does feel like a cyberpunk game now for some reason. Like especially like you did a lot of reinforcement about in your head the thing going on, and the advertisement and the like the description of the layers of clouds and stuff. I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time since we've played, so I lost completely the feel of the game for some reason.
The Appalachian Heights.
We got back into it.
Well, I really like these stark contrasts. We realize, because I had a very clear picture in my mind all the time. What does the lower level look like? You know, and then just kind of going over that through that layer of smog or whatever the heck it was, and realizing there's this whole other layer there. You know, it's really kind of cool. Like it makes the distinction even larger. And of course, there's that hanging question. My God, just where the hell did Cadmus get that money? Why the hell was he working as a security guard?
Why the hell was he working as a security guard? I was hoping someone would ask that question.
That's the whole time that's all I'm thinking, and all Tess is kind of ruminating about is like, what the hell was he doing down there? Because he clearly his income didn't buy this place. What was? Why did he come down to the lower levels to do this?
So you think now that it's a cover up thing? Oh my God!
Well, all yours thinking is about is, hey man, I've arrived. You know, you're taking selfies. And guys, check out the limo and the crib, and like he's.
Yo, robot, pay for this.
Yeah. Oh well, it's a belief though. It's my belief.
So this was my thing. It's been months, right? It's my turn to be the MC, and and this is player driven. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know what the beliefs are, and I don't want to push you guys for the beliefs, because I know how I felt when I had to create a belief because we're going to play today, kind of thing. Yeah. It stifled creativity in a way. So I wanted the beliefs to come, and then we would have time to play. So I see these beliefs. All right. And the beliefs are going to make play today.
Yeah.
And I look at them, and we've got Tess. I'll make sure that Cadmus did not die in vain. I'll try to understand Yorn and his belief in the united whole, and I will take my place as a rightful member of society. And then I see Yorn. My calling is the only meaningful purpose in this world. 2, since Tess is a robot, I should use her attributes. And 3, Cadmus's death should mean something. So
these are good.
They connect. They fit together really nicely. And we already talked about how the first 6 sessions were like A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. So now we're in Return of the Jedi, and it felt like that to me. It's like the whole beginning part of the movie is let's rescue Han.
I didn't. Yeah, honestly, I mean, you guys have analyzed it that way, but I didn't see that at all. It goes right over my head. But at the same time, it's super traditional story structure kind of thing. So I guess it's just a matter of culture.
So one of the moves of the dying is that it's called opens at the close, right? So once the dying has died,
Right.
they have a way to put a message. Right now, even if the player of the dying doesn't think to actually do it in the fiction, this move that triggers at your death puts everything that they've managed to uncover into the hands of the other players somehow, like a dead man switch or an information drop or a lawyer shows up or whatever. I actually did put the moment that Cadmus sent his information to Yorn in the fiction. If you go back and watch it, you can see when I did it.
Yep.
But so that's kind of interesting for me. But I didn't want to make this session about what Cadmus wanted.
Right.
It worked because we don't know.
Well, it's true, but I didn't want the whole session to be about him. I wanted it to be about you, and so there was like a couple of days where I was kind of stuck. Like I knew from the beginning I didn't want to plan anything. I wanted to start with one of you, and you're doing what you do, and then I wanted to ask you why you were doing that, or how you were doing that, or something along those lines. But what actually happened was that I sent a message from the lawyer. I said, "You've just received this thing," right? That's what came out of my mouth in the moment.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to do with it, right? Your life is going to change, and
this is powered by the apocalypse. It's like the things is just unfolding in front of you all the time. This is how it should work, and I feel like it's exactly what it did. You know,
I had one other detail in my head.
Oh yeah,
which was the someone's at the door part. When I thought of the lease as the starting thing, I wasn't really sure where in the session it would or could or should happen.
Right.
But I thought, in conjunction with the lease, there's someone at the door. So I had those 2 data points.
Right.
That's my entire prep for this session, was those 2 things. So that was kind of interesting that we don't actually get to there's someone at the door, because those 2 items were together in my head, right? As 2 sides of one coin. Like, this is what you see and this is what's going on, kind of thing. So it's kind of cool that it will be another whole session before that before you open the door. And so everything else was invented as a response to what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you like that kind of GM?
I like to improvise between the lines. So this is now session 7 for all 3 of us. right? So I didn't have to think about the city. I didn't have to plan what the city looks like. We already know. And we've already experienced it. So I just have to remember it or describe it, that kind of thing. I don't like to make plots at all. That's not something I do. I have environments and things like that. So it wasn't like I wanted to start you out in media res, like you're running down the street and there's gunfire, and then say, so who's shooting at you and why? You know, I mean, because now I've chosen violence.
Right.
All right. So what I wanted to see was what you wanted to do, and the only way to do that is to, you know, keep your hands off, and that's normally how I play. So that part was comfortable for me. The not rolling dice thing, however, like as the like just making a move, this is the part of Powered by the Apocalypse that makes me uncomfortable. This is where my bias creates friction, because I would prefer, like I'm doing in our Mithras Call of Cthulhu inspired game, if an NPC is going to do something, I want to know if they're successful or unsuccessful in that agenda by rolling the dice to see if they are and see what happens. I like to have the system contribute in that way rather than me saying, well, what would I like to have happen? So like as the MC, I'm storytelling every time I open my mouth, because I'm just deciding what things are going to be like. There's no mechanism for me to roll dice to discover in the moment, oh, they failed, how interesting, right? So that's a reaction, that's a bias, that's a preference.
Yeah, definitely, and I agree because I mean, it's fun to roll dice anyway. If you either a GM or a player, right? And then if the system can speak for the GM as well, it's I mean, as good as it gets. So of course, yeah, it's a game that that is a little in terms of mechanic and resolution. I feel it sometimes a little bit artificial, a little bit like forced. You know, after the session, like for example, I rolled 11 to sway,
right?
And then okay, I owe them some creds, or I should have give them a body part. It doesn't make sense in the scene. You know, I give a body part to a fucking clerk, a clerk that holds the door, kind of thing, a guy at the door. So it doesn't make sense. So I'm not gonna choose that. So what else am I gonna choose? So I have like three options that are interesting. I don't have any
the heart or soul one. The last option on the list, you have to give them a piece of your heart.
Be a piece. I'm not gonna give a piece of myself to a clerk. This is not what they do. You know.
Well, I kind of thought you would like start street preaching to him or something, right? Like try and connect with him. Hey, man, like we're on the same level. You know.
I don't know, man.
But I love that you just gave him some cash. I mean, Jorn turned dark.
Well, it's still
no robot. Pay the man.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, actually, I tell you, you utilized. I mean, as far as that belief's concerned, because I forgot about
utilized this. Oh,
you know, you got me buying you stuff. Not only like I need to buy you clothes, but then I need to pay you. And then, but probably the ultimate for me was, and if they start shooting, you just run slower, so they shoot you first.
Yeah. You said like it's my duty to protect you. I'm like, perfect. Just be in my back, like like.
Well, what about the part where he suggested to the police officer that if the police officer was lonely, he could always come back and visit Tess?
Oh yeah, that was just fantastic. Yes, it completely. Yeah, and this is my friend. This is the closest thing I have to a friend in the entire world.
Oh man. I don't know. It's like, but the thing though is that it's because it's not violent. It's not you know, it's no big deal for the religion. It's on the edge. It's on the edge. But I mean, I feel like it's okay. I don't know.
I found it interesting though with the you know, as a GM deciding what happens or having to roll dice for what happens, because from my background, this is like buying buy some preference land or just experience land. I mean, like when you come from like a lot of the older games, it was kind of 50-50. Sometimes you did roll dice, like there was a rule, like it was a reaction roll. Go ahead and find out. And other times it was really wide open. Like, I mean, okay, what happens? And so I think, like you said before, and like we've talked about, there's a whole bunch of the principles and the moves and all that kind of stuff in all PBTA games, which are like, they seem very normal. Like, this is what we do. But it's interesting that, like, in a game like this, that's your only option, is that you decide what happens. And there's other games, and I know you're kind of playing our Mythos game that way, where you're literally always rolling dice. Like, do the stairs collapse? I don't know. Let's find out if the stairs collapse. Coming from a background where it was kind of like in the middle, where you kind of do either, it's not super uncomfortable to do it this way, but I found myself in some cases wanting to roll a die for something. Like, I wonder if this happens or doesn't happen, and that's not there. You have to make it up, or it's your call as an MC. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be. It can feel a little bit like the ball's kind of in your court at that moment, 100%.
So I mean, it's definitely something you could get used to, and just it would eventually seem normal. But what I found when I went very far the other way, going into D100, and playing D100 would be so much easier if I just made things up.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm having so much fun. I am making things up. I'm not making decisions.
Right.
About outcomes. I'm discovering the outcomes from the interactions of things. Do the gangsters find you on your way through the city or not? From a storytelling point of view, you have a feeling, as a fiction reader or as a movie watcher, you have a feeling of when it would be really cool if the bad guys find you. But I've just been smiling every time I pick up the dice to see if the bad guys find you. Nope, they don't. Okay, so, and it's produced this feeling of hanging tension in the game. It's like, well, when is that hammer gonna drop? Kind of thing. Just kind of interesting. But one thing that not rolling dice does, I think, if you have that kind of bias or preference that we have talked about, is it helps you keep your hands off, so that there's space for the players to explore and get a sense of what's really being described and who their character is and what they actually want to do to be proactive.
Yeah, and that
otherwise we just roll dice.
Yeah, and it's interesting because whenever I come to play this game, because I play a couple other games, whenever I come to play this game, I always feel, even as a player, I feel like, oh shit, it's gonna be work. I'm gonna have to be engaged. Like, I have to have some ideas, otherwise nothing's gonna happen. And that's good. That's good to for a culture of play, right? But mechanically, sometimes it just falls short on some side. Yeah. Right. But it's okay. I mean, it's still fun. Every time we play, we don't know what's gonna happen, and it's fun to discover it and
play with the right people. Choose the right game. Talk to the
players. That being said, I have to go now, but we still have to give XP.
Right. Let's talk about the beliefs. Let's start with you, Jorn.
Well, do you want to do it another time, or
if you don't have time, we can do it another time. But it's pretty fast, right?
Okay. All right. So my calling is the only meaningful purpose I have in this world. I did not roll for that because I need to test it to get some XP. I didn't.
Okay.
Since Tess is a robot, I should utilize her attribute. I did it all the time, but I did not test it because I couldn't, force her to test it. So I don't know how you guys want to
Right.
do
So
about
you
that.
actually had to role play through it, and did it cause conflict? Did it cause a negative reaction in Tess?
Yeah.
Well.
She advised you she was going to throw you out the window.
Oh
I
yeah,
do
yeah,
recall
that's right. That's right. And then there is Cadmus's death should mean something. So that is the reason why we went there. That is the reason why we, searched the place as well. So it's that 1 XP per belief because we didn't accomplish. I didn't accomplish
You
any.
haven't resolved anything, right?
Yeah.
So 1, or I would say it would be 2 for since Tess is a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got in trouble.
Now there's an implied threat. Maybe it didn't feel threatening to you, but when you were having the discussion with the detective about the nature of your religion,
Yeah.
he dropped some subtle threats and some direct threats about, like, you've got a couple of days to sort yourself out, but we don't really tolerate this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have to investigate you because I'm homicide, but I can just easily make a call to.
Yeah, Vice.
Yeah, I think belief number 1 got you into trouble.
We don't want no Charles Manson in these parts.
Yeah.
So there's that. Tess.
Right. Yep. I'll make sure Kaz does not die in vain on exact revenge or help expose the truth. I engaged it, but I didn't really. I mean, was it tester challenged?
No.
No, not really. Not really. Alrighty.
But it was present, so yes,
Right.
1.
I'll try to understand Yorna's belief in the unified whole. She's trying. Does that really get into her trouble or anything? And certainly hasn't resolved that. He's an enigma. She has not figured this out at all.
So we didn't have a lot of questioning, though, like
Right,
between
no,
the
we
two of
didn't.
them about the whole.
Yeah, so I would say I didn't really do anything with that one.
Right.
And I will take my place as a rightful member of society.
Well, when I mentioned that the detective could come over and we could.
Yeah. Yeah, unreal. Yeah, I don't know that she really did as much. It didn't get in her trouble. Didn't really get tested. Certainly not resolved. She's, at least in my mind, she's still trying to kind of feeling her way through that. It's a belief, if you will, that guides her.
Right. It didn't move you into action like with the clerk, with the cabbie, with the cop.
But I held in my mind that birth question a lot as we were talking about, like what do I need to do to fit in, to be accepted?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of everything that Yorn was not doing over and over again. Yorn is doing his best to stand out, whereas Tess is doing her best to kind of fit in. So it's not something.
This is kind of interesting, and I guess that birth question kind of got muffled. I mean, it was explored through the entire process,
right?
But nobody said anything about it, so we experienced it, but didn't really talk about how do I fit in. We did see Tess trying to fit in and feeling uncomfortable,
right?
At Yorn blatantly not fitting in,
right? Yeah.
So this is interesting. It sets something up, but it didn't actually goad you or push you into some kind of action. Right. So it's something to think about.
Yep. But I did get an XP for a failed roll.
Yeah. So that would be 4.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, like literally, goal wise, if I have a goal, what am I going to do when I'm 10th level, man? what's is really my whole goal with this is to see if I can unlock all the emotions, because she has 2 emotions that just aren't unlocked at all.
Yeah, that's
So
something that definitely
interesting.
needs to be addressed. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my
I'm
whole
powerful
goal
and
for
sad.
XP. Yeah. Yeah. But peaceful and joyful things are the ones that she has not yet unlocked. She has no idea what to, those emotions kind of elude her.
Right. Well, your second belief there might lead you to peaceful, because Yorn spends most of his time subdued.
Right.
Yeah, well, Yorn, the thing is that Yorn, he knows that she's a robot, but it doesn't change the fact that she's a friend. But at the same time, she got controlled by the veil to shoot the people. So it's like he's not as, how can I say, like he he knows the limits of that friendship now. Kind of.
Right. Whenever he talks to Tess, he always starts out the conversation with, "Hey Siri."
Hi,
Bixby.
Exactly.
All right, so I gotta go, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see each other soon.
Thanks for playing, guys.
Right. Yeah. It was a blast. It was a blast.
All right.
Take care. I will now stop the broadcast and we can go to the green room.
Hey. All righty.